Hi folks, China Guitar Skeptic back again, and availed myself of the facilities over at my father's workshop because I've got a bit of a major sanding to do. There are a couple of places where it was dented, and so I've taken it right the way back to the wood to level that dent out before I prime it anymore. And what you're doing here with this is just providing a really nice key. So any of these dents, there's another one just here that I've got to rub right the way back to the wood, and then I'll fill out where I need to. So as you can see, that one's rubbed all the way back to the wood, right the way through. 1, 2 primer coat, sealer coat, primer coat, top coat, gloss on that. So I'm just rubbing it all the way back. Can take it all back to the wood completely if you want to. I don't normally bother because I just like to get a key for the primer. It's what the finishing is the most important thing. Anyway, reason for coming over here is I need the vise to get round these edges. Now I'm going to stop for a bit, cool off, and I'm going to cut a disc of the 240 for this sander, just to bring it up a little bit smoother, and we'll hand finish it. Right, okay, now we're going to spray it with just a white car primer, which I'm doing outside just because it should be done in a ventilated area, and it's not too windy a day today, but I'm still going to do it far enough away from my camera not to get it all over the lens. So just a quick white prime, and then we'll hang it up. And I'm going to start by doing the bits that are difficult to get to when it's hung. And there it is, with a whole can of white primer just as an initial coat. We're not worried at this stage too much about whether it's going to run, or I just want to get a good coverage because it's all going to be rubbed down again anyway before the final colour coat. It also gives us an opportunity to make sure that the grain is soaking up any primer, and also that we identify any places where we might need a bit of filler where we've rubbed down to get those dents out. Okay, so here we are back in Dad's shed with the second bit of working on the body work. Last week I rubbed down with the drill, and this week, and primed it for the first time. And this week I've been filling it bit by bit, as you can see here. I've filled in all the screw heads, all the screw holes, and including around the pick guard, because unfortunately the pick guard I bought, although it was the right number of screws, the screw holes didn't line up. So we're going to start again with that. Anyway, just a little bit more filling and rubbing down to do today before we prime it for the last time. Okay, so here we are. Got some medium grade sanding block. We're just going to start by taking these high spots down until little dips like that one go away. All the time, it doesn't matter if we're rubbing it back to the primer, or back to the red I should say, through the primer. The main thing is that we get, at this stage, we get everything nice and flat, so that it gives us a nice foundation on which to spray and colour our guitar. Incidentally, I think I said at the end of the last video that I want you guys to decide on the colour. You see there that there's rippling there, and we have to get rid of all of that to the best that we can. So yeah, I just obviously don't want to go for red because I've already got a red Strat shaped guitar. I was thinking actually that the white primer looked quite nice, in fact, and I was wondering if people thought it might be actually quite nice to do an Alpine white Strat. The suggestions I've had so far are my favourite colour, purple. I'm starting to get quite a collection of purple guitars though. Somebody else mentioned the fact that I never got the pink PRLS from China, so why not go for a pink guitar? Somebody said a gold Strat would be nice. I'm really easy, folks. Whatever you lot really fancy, I'm up for. But it will require just a little bit of input from you, please. I'd really like to know what you think. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Yeah, you see here I did the fill, that in the light there. I did a bit of fill around where I'd rub right the way back to the wood, just to bring it back up again. Because now the reason that I went back to the wood is because if you recall, the guitar had dents in it where something had been dropped on it, and you really need, no good just filling those. You really need to go back down and rub down until you find the root of them, and the reason being that otherwise they will always settle back in when they start getting sprayed and paint back on the top. So yeah, just taking that back down, and I'll just put a little bit of filler in just to bring the level up and get it somewhere close to where it was before we started rubbing out that dent. These sanding blocks, by the way, are a great idea. They're coarse on one side, fine on the other, and they're great for contour work like this. And that one's a medium to fine, and this one's a fine to extra fine. And so once you've done it with the one, you can then go back over all of these and just go back down to nice and fine, so that this should all actually end up being quite a level, flat surface. Obviously it's all going to take more sanding as we get into, actually that actually needs a bit of filler. There's still a lump out of that. What I use is standard Holt's car filler. As I said before, this is car paint that we'll be using on it. Works as well as anything else. Every guitar I've ever painted, I've used car spray. So, and here's my little straight edge. I know my dad's got a tool for this, but I just find this works just as well as anything else. There we go. Just put a little bit more fill in that hole. That's it. And wipe off the excess. Okay, so while that's just drying off, I'll get on and actually, I was going to say sand the back, but I can see we've still got quite a lump there that just needs to be taken down. And we've still got this orange peel type effect going on here, which I'll just rub out. Actually, it's pretty smooth. I think that must be in the priming. Yeah, so when we've finished getting this all primed up, we should be going straight back to being able to drill the new bridge holes, and we'll do away with all the old 6 pegs that used to have for the old bridge. Okay, what I'm doing now is just with the finest grade, done the back, I'm just going over the whole guitar, over all the contours, just to make sure that we have got a nice smooth surface all round before the final primer coat. And at this point, and I can't stress actually how important it is to do your rubbing down between each coat, not only between each coat of colour, but between each coat of primer as well. It will pay dividends in the long term. The flatter you get this surface before you start spraying it, the easier it will be on each subsequent rub down. Still got this bit here to rub down that I've just filled, so I'll just take back a touch. Just a little go with the rough grade sandpaper first, and then just tidy it up with the finer grade sanding brush. That's nice and flat now. That should disappear under the primer. So we'll now get the final priming done. Just a standard Halfords, UK that is, white primer in a spray can, 500 centilitres, and yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, which we'll do outside because of the fumes. Okay, so here we go. We will start with the underside because it's the hardest part to get to. Give this a damn good shake, and we'll just start priming under here. And you want to be about 6 to 10 inches away, and hopefully get the wind in the other direction. And just do the underside because it's the only bit you can't reach when it's hung up on its little piece of wire. And again, just gently coating the whole guitar with the white primer, trying to get an even coat on. Covering up all of those bits we just rubbed down. Important to keep the paint moving. Okay, you can see that some of the rubbing down hasn't been brilliant, so still some more rubbing back on this. I'm going to leave this as a first coat of the final coat primer. I'm going to let it rub down in between. It's handy, this little GoPro camera, it gets in everywhere. Yeah, I've given it its first coat. Incidentally, just in case you were wondering, this hole through the neck, I believe, is for a neck adjustable shim. You can normally get a back plate that goes on there with a hole in it, and you can adjust the neck angle up and down with that. I was just going to say that as it's settled down, there's just a little high patch on this fill, but I think actually the paint will make that up. Other than that, it all looks pretty good. So I'm going to give it one more coat of primer, and we're going to leave it then for a week to harden, and while we decide on the colour. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you will join in deciding the colour, and come back to me with your answers. As I say, yes, this the primer from Halfords, or just any good DIY store. It's just a motor primer, 500ml primer. You need to use it in a ventilated area, obviously, as the filler as well. Where do I put my filler? That's in there somewhere as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, just a normal car filler. So it does the job. Knifing putty. Fills surface scratch and stone chips on cars. And it dries rock hard. And it's great for just filling the guitar body, any imperfections, fill it over, rub it down, make it look nice. I've got a little dent there that I've noticed in that. Adds a bit of character, I suppose. But yes, let me know your thoughts and your suggestions for colour down below. Okay, take care and lots of good rocking.